Hello, I'm the Waffle Man, and today we are going to be doing a live commentated run of Silly Bandz Play the Craze. If you've never heard of Silly Bandz before, you're about to find out real quick what they're all about. Without further ado, let's just get it started. I'm going to be starting in 3, 2, 1. Alright, Silly Bandz Play the Craze. This is a game which, if you take a quick look at the gameplay, looks a lot like another game you might be familiar with, called Angry Birds. Angry Birds is a really fun game. So even a cheap knockoff of that game can be fun, right? I think I'm qualified as somebody who has the most hours in this game, probably in the world, that this is one of the worst games ever created. Now, being a bad game doesn't mean you can't have a fun speedrun. I think this game has a particularly fun speedrun, not only because of the jankness of some of the levels, but also because, can you please beat the level? Hello? There it goes. That was so unfortunate. But also, so the jankness of levels adds a little bit of precision because in order to beat levels, you kind of have to beat it in precise ways that weren't intended to, or I just like abuse the crazy mechanics they have in this game to be able to beat levels like incredibly fast that you normally would not expect to beat that fast. So you might notice different colored silly bands. This is our first level where we get to use the red silly band, for example. Every color silly band is a different level of strength. As you see, the red silly band just completely pulverized those yellow walls because yellow is the weakest. The order of strength is yellow is the weakest, blue is the middle, and red is the strongest. The walls also follow the same color coordination. So, yeah, so in this level, this is the first level where we actually throw away silly bands because the blue ones really aren't too helpful for us in this level. We need red ones to be able to break down this wall, if we could do it right. A little bit lower than that, and we should be, oh, too low. And we got it anyways, nice. But yeah, so that will not happen very often where we throw away silly bands. That's just one of the few levels where it's like not useful to have a certain type of silly band. On to the first level with explosions, which, as you see, if anything in the world interacts with them, they will explode. Making it so that in that level in particular, it's a chain reaction, basically just showing you how explosives work and demonstrating their power. Okay, it's fine. All right, so we are currently in the first world of 4 worlds. So there's 4 worlds in this game, all with 10 levels, all of which you have to beat in order to beat the game. The end of this speedrun ends when you've beaten all 40 levels in the game. We are about to finish the nature world pretty quickly. We're on level 9 right now, and level 10. And then after we beat level 10, we'll move on to the maritime world. And every world tends to introduce us to a new silly band that we get access to, which is fun. Is that gonna fall over? It is. Okay. And in maritime world, we get introduced into my favorite silly band, so I'm pretty excited for that. The end of world 1 here is a little bit frustrating, because you have to hit a really precise shot. I don't know what the intended way to beat this level is. Do not ask me. I just know that the way that I found is the most consistent is not really consistent. Please get it. Alright, that's fine. Also, my PB has the world's record time for the nature world, so we're almost expected to lose time here anyways, so I'm not too upset about it. Alright, that looks good. That looks good. There we go. Alright. Alright, so, maritime world. So, this level introduced, like I said, my favorite silly band, which is the star silly band, which, as you noticed, as you just saw right there, turns into 5 different silly bands when you double tap the screen. It is absolutely broken. As you saw, we had access to like 6 silly bands there, but because the star one was so broken, there's a setup I can do there to beat the whole level with just one silly band, which is awesome. And normally, that one is faster than how I did it, which is great. Alright, so we beat that level pretty quickly. A lot of this game is just hitting the mark on your lineups, which on the earlier levels, like I said, are pretty easy, but as the game gets on, it gets a little bit harder. Now, the star is pretty great because it makes lineups a lot easier. The fact that it explodes into 5 different ones. Now, that was the first level. You may or may not have noticed it with the slime block, which is a piece of terrain, which if you run into it, will get your silly band stuck to it, which is pretty dangerous to have to deal with. It can be quite annoying on certain levels, and the collision is especially annoying, so just keep a lookout for some jank collision on those. This is the first level with the cloud. When you phase through a cloud with a silly band, it'll drop an item. This is normally used to beat a lot of like scripted levels. So a lot of levels will just have clouds that like drop an item that like fall onto an explosion, which is like really funny. So some of the levels where they feature that is like are like really easy, but some of them are like incredibly hard because it's like either the cloud's hard to hit or like you have to hit a cloud and then also some terrain. Now this is the first level that features what I like to call the conveyor belt terrain. I hit the same exact part. So I'm supposed to be hitting that like purplish block that will shoot a silly band in a specific direction. In terms of this level, oh my god. The double? Oh, I can't believe I hit that shot. That was awesome. They're really janky. They don't really work as intended most of the time. So those blocks in particular are the bane of my existence. Alright, this should be a good setup. One of those has got to get in there. So this is sometimes a pretty annoying level because you have to get that cloud all the way at the end of the level. But with the star just gives you so many opportunities to get that level, it doesn't even matter. Okay. This is level 8, which again, we're going to use the star to be able to do a lot of work for us. And hopefully beat the level? Hell yeah. I love the star. I'm the star's biggest fan. Alright, so we got 2 more levels left in the maritime section of levels. Level 9 and level 10. And then we will be moving on into the party world pretty soon. Which is, everyone get your party hats on. I wish I had a party hat right now that I could use to be able to indicate there's a party going on. It's alright, though. It should be... what did you bounce off of? I literally called it too soon. I said this should be a good lineup, and then I bounced on the craziest piece of texture ever. Oh my god. Alright. Now this is Maritime level 10, a pretty tough start to the level because you have to weave your way in between the fish on the top screen, which is the bottom screen on your perspective, and also like hitting that wall. So I think I have a pretty good lineup if I do that. And then you knock down that red wall just barely, and then you should be able to beat the level from there. So yeah, usually I don't mind missing the first shot as long as it's close, because then I can usually get the lineup on the next one. On to the party world. Which, for some reason, the party world introduces an explosive silly band. I don't know why it chooses to do that, but the explosive silly band works because it, by exploding whenever you double tap the screen. It is very powerful, but also a little bit inconsistent because of the way collision works in this game. Not everything you try to explode at explodes consistently because like changing your position very slightly will affect things in a negative way. But for the most part, it's a pretty useful silly band. but I would say it's only second on the tier list in comparison to the star one. Like this level, if we had stars, I'm loving life, but because we have the explosives, this level's like actually really difficult. All right. We had some pretty good lineups there to start this level, but I think, yeah, I don't think that's gonna be good. If I lob this bomb into there, that should get it. No, it didn't. Okay. That's fine. I missed it? Oh, that's bad. Now it's officially bad. Okay. Let's just, did we get it? Please? One of them has to drop in. One of them has to. Oh, it fell! Oh, it's wonderful! Oh, we love when things just work out in our favor, don't we? Alright, this is a level where, you can save a bajillion years by hitting a crazy lineup and avoiding having to use this bomb at all. But we did not hit that on this run, so we'll just have to stick with the normal standard route. Alright, on to level 5. One of the worst levels in this game. So this features, I think, one of the first levels with the magnet. The first level that really matters with the magnet, I would say. Where you have to break a bunch of walls down and avoid that magnet while also trying to beat the level by hitting some incredibly tough lines. So if you go too high, you'll get stuck to the magnet, and you might notice the magnet also helps extend like how far silly bands move when you get close to them. But for all intents and purposes, you want to avoid hitting magnets or getting close to them, because you might just get yourself stuck onto one. It looks incredibly close to the slime block, which I think is funny because I think they were coded the same way, which is hilarious. All right, on to the easiest level in the game, which is if you clear all of these clouds. I went way too high. And so essentially the goal is you go through all those clouds and then you hit this wall at the end, and usually the level ends in one hit. But of course I messed up the easiest level in the game because I'm focused on saying stuff to nobody. The thoughts in my head. Oh my god. Alright, so this should get this level. Sometimes that one on the end likes to be a little bit annoying, so I like making sure that that gets cleared before I do anything. Alright, and then we have to lob this one in there. It's a little bit difficult to hit this lob, but this should be good. Alright. And we are one level away, or 2 levels away now, from going to the fantasy world, which will introduce another silly band. Before that, we have to go through one of the worst designed levels. This level's gimmick is essentially you have to grab the silly bands in the world. So like as you notice, if you phase through a silly band, or if anything phases through a silly band, that's just a reset. You're able to get those silly bands and they get added to the team. But the problem being is that the way you have to hit them into them is very tough to do. Now, I'm glad I did it first try 2 times because the explosives on this level are also very inconsistent. So we have to deal with the inconsistency of the very first hit to even be able to play the game, and then also the inconsistency of the explosions. But they seem to work out pretty good that time, so we go on scot-free. All right, on to the final level of the party world, which is honestly probably my favorite level of the party world because it's pretty consistent. It adds a lot of skill to the game. Oh, frick. Okay, that's fine. Oh my god, I'm just choking everywhere, dude. This is fine. This is gonna work. So that one gets that one, and then we get a bomb, which we just lob in. The magnet, like, literally almost screwed me. Is that gonna get stuck to it? I lost. This was just skill issue. That was just that. A lot of things in this game I could blame for the lack of good game design. That was not one of those moments. That should get it, and then this one. Losing the star was like that was the worst part, because that's like the only way I know to get that little middle one in there. But that's fine. Saved a little bit of time to PB to the party world, but my PB's party world is honestly atrocious, so that's should have saved more time. Forehead. Anyways, on to the fantasy world, where we get the access to the worst silly band so far, in my opinion. It is a yellow silly band, which, when you double tap the screen, will paint the wall into yellow, making the wall a little bit, Is this game just not working right now? What's going on? What's going on, guys? I have never seen that thing last as long as it just did, but that's okay. Why are you gonna be annoying? I have a feeling that you. All right, that should beat the level. Perfect. So, anyways, the paint silly band isn't really useful. Most of the time, you don't want to make the walls weaker, because if you make the walls weaker, they will just the walls will disappear, and a lot of the time, the walls are kind of your best friend. You kind of want the walls to be able to break other like debris in the game, so you don't really want to make them weaker so that they go away. You kind of want to keep them in the game, which is why you saw on the first level I just got rid of the paint silly bands, because I just do not find them that useful. There are levels where they are useful, and that will come into play when it needs to, but that more on that later. On to what I think is top 5 worst designed levels in this game. I don't know what the intended way for this level to be beaten is. If anyone could help me out with that, that would be great. But I also messed up the lineup a couple times, so I can't have too much to complain about, honestly. Alright, so sometimes when those explosions go off, they like phase through some like terrain that they're not supposed to phase through, and then they beat the level. So we just got lucky there. If that doesn't happen, you have to hit an incredibly hard shot that I end up missing most of the time. So thank freaking Christ for that, for us getting the good outcome, as I like to call it. Alright, and then this is a level which if we are able to get that explosion to go off, it usually beats the level pretty quickly, but we didn't even need it that time, actually. Alright, we are 5 levels away from completing the game. So we're almost there. Oh, too high. And this is my favorite level, actually, so I'm really sad that I keep... What is up with me today? There we go. So usually... I messed it up, but it's fine. Should come back. Please come back. Did that stay intact? That's crazy. I've never seen that. Alright. Yeah, let's use the bomb here. And then the star up there. So we're just choking it. It's fine. We're just choking a little bit. Who hasn't choked a little bit in video gaming before? Alright, this should be able to get it. There we go. Alright. So yeah, we're almost done with the speedrun, guys. How have you guys enjoyed? I hope you guys have enjoyed it so far. I find it a pretty fast-paced and fun speedrun, but I don't like dedicating too much time to this game, just because I think my mental health would not love that. All right, yeah, there's a shot that I love hitting where you get two for one combo with the bomb, where you're able to snipe both of them, which is great. All right, 3 more levels left. How fast can we beat them? Pretty fast, actually. So we're almost close to what I would call, I was saying level 5, one of the worst designs in the game. Level 10 is the worst. It's the worst designed, like by far. It's so incredibly hard for not only a casual playthrough, but the fact that it's like still tough in a speedrun, despite the fact that I've put most of my time in this game into figuring out how that level works. It's just ridiculous, man. Ooh, did I go high enough? I got it. Alright, and then just get this lob. Ooh, a little bit not lofty enough. There, it should be better. There we go. Should grab the rock, which gets the level. Okay, on to level 10. So, not only is this level incredibly hard because I don't understand the intended way to beat one level, but also the intended way to beat certain objectives do not work sometimes. Oh, we hit the rock. We hit this perfectly. That should get the level. I can't believe this. So normally you hit the rock into that explosive and it beats the level. And we just didn't. It just didn't go far enough. I've never hit the rock in this level so hard and it just like stopped on a dime. I'm so mad. But anyways, the intended way to beat this level, I have no idea if these rocks are even supposed to be the way you're supposed to do it, but they just do not work. They just do not work the right way, and it ends up boiling half of the time to me just trying to hit this incredibly hard shot, which I was pretty close to, where you have to like lob a silly band into this little crevasse and then hit like dead on hit the explosion. It's incredibly tough. So hopefully we aren't here for too long. I feel good about it though. I keep hitting the rocks very well. Ooh, I missed the rocks. That's not a good sign. Alright. No. A little bit lower. Too low. Oh my god. Are we gonna get stuck here forever and ever? That's too high. It's fine. Should get it, and that should get in. Perfect. I'm just not confident with this right now. It's okay. We got the glitch where it makes your silly band a little bit smaller. Such a hard shot to hit. Usually I'm a little better with it though. That's gonna be too high. It's gonna hit the magnet. Please get it. Please keep going. Keep going. Yes. Okay. This is doable. Although I did miss the first shot, which means that if I miss it again, I will cry real tears. And that should get it. Okay. Alright, and that is the end of Silly Bandz Play the Craze. I hope you guys have enjoyed this speedrun experience, and I hope you have a blessed rest of your day.